I was reading late last night, by the way, an interesting conspiracy theory because I love my conspiracy theories. And conspiracy theories that followed this man throughout his career and afterwards. His name is Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
And Michael Jordan selling his interest in the Charlotte Bobcats slash Hornets. And there's a conspiracy theory going around, by the way, that Michael, for his branding and everything else, he's selling his interest because he is broke. Have you heard that one?
I've read something about that. I would never say that there's no chance that somebody who has the alleged gambling issues that Michael Jordan had or has might be broke. Do I think Michael Jordan is broke? I don't think so. I think maybe at this point, I mean, Michael is now what, 60?
He's got to be in his
Getting
60s.
getting
Sure.
close, right?
Sure.
Getting
Sure.
closer there,
Sure.
right?
He's got to be in his 60s.
And I don't think he's had the most pleasant of experiences owning that franchise, right? I are part of that franchise at least, whatever. I and plus, I think the number was 2 billion.
Or 3 billion
Yeah,
or
something like that.
sure.
Look, if you're not absolutely married to, if somebody, I love this store, but if somebody walked in here and said, I will give you $5 million for all your inventory and for you to go away, bye, I'll go do something else, right? Because that's a really good deal for me. Look, I think if Michael Jordan owned the Chicago Bulls, it might be harder for him to walk away from a deal like that. But I didn't hear anything that he was actively shopping the team, right? I didn't remember reading that. And if somebody came up to Michael Jordan and said, "Hey, we've got a deal in place to buy you out," and it's a two with a B behind it, you might go, do you have the paperwork with you right now? Because I mean, realistically, what is the value of that? I mean, I get it's an NBA franchise, but I mean, it's Charlotte. Nothing against the city of Charlotte, which is a wonderful city, but it's not the biggest market in the world. It's not the most famous team in the world. That seems like a lot of money. Now, I don't know what else is involved in that, right? But there's if in fact Michael Jordan is having financial difficulties, and we'll put that in air quotes, there is Michael Jordan broke, and then there's broke. Michael Jordan still has contracts with all these, all these big companies and everything else. He has an exclusive deal with Upper Deck. He can call Upper Deck anytime he needs money and says, "Hey, I want to sign 500 jerseys and whatever else," and that's probably $250,000. Boom, like that, right? So broke is a relative term.
Well, his buddy, who apparently is the one buying the Hornets from him. So his buddy told him it'd be a really good idea. This is what I was reading the other night,
Right.
literally last night as we were preparing our taping and I was doing my research. So apparently his buddy tells him it's a really good idea to short on GameStop, the video game store.
Yeah.
And so his buddy lost, I don't know, in whatever billions he lost. Jordan apparently lost 500 million shorting this thing. And that combined with whatever else, remember, he's also got that house in Chicago. You've seen this with the gates, with his number. He created this custom house for himself in Chicago. And it's been sitting for what, 10 years, 15 years. And he can't sell the bloody thing. The house is what, 20 million, 50 million, whatever crazy
Yeah.
number it is. And it costs a lot of money to upkeep this house. And it's sitting vacant. And so, but that should be a drop in the bucket. But like you said, there are people like Shaquille O'Neal that you read about him. He put $250,000 into Google back in the day because he heard a conversation from somebody that's worth 400 million now. He owns in the company. He gave part of his licensing rights to his likeness, and he bought into a company that owns the likeness to Elvis and Marilyn Monroe. Everything Shaq turns to gold. Everything Jordan turns to touches. I don't know, the
Yeah.
same thing. And if I had to say that Jordan had a particular connection to anything, I don't think he has any connection to the Bulls anymore. I think his Charlotte being in his hometown and everything made sense. I think it's a good thing to have Jordan, as an owner in the public imagery part of it. But how the team is done and his crankiness and moodiness, I don't think it's worked so well. So I think they kind of came to him and said, "You want to keep your legacy, everything else, take the 3 billion, go and keep selling shoes, go to Jordan, brand number 39, 45, whatever number shoe they're on, and just keep making your millions and billions and being an ambassador to the game. But you don't need this, maybe. That's how I'm thinking about it. But regardless, Jordan's moving on and he's cashing in big time. Look, if the Ottawa Senators, where all you living in the States or wherever you're in the world, good luck in finding Ottawa on the map, by the way. They have a professional hockey team, and what, that's worth $1 billion. So if that's worth $1 billion, which includes land as well, by the way, so that's a little different. But sure as heck, then I would say an NBA team for sure, 2 mil, 3 mil. So
Yeah, I guess so. And you know, like I think you're right too. I think the public image of Michael Jordan, I won't say it's taken a hit, but I will say that people now kind of have two minds about Jordan, Jordan the player, and then Jordan sort of the the after the career sort of thing, right? Have I mentioned before we talked about Shaq that a friend of mine, actually Brad Straubinger, did a deal with an interview with him a while back and asked him about kind of what he thought his biggest regret was in business, that he was approached to be the face of Starbucks.
I think we talked about that one.
And he turned it down because he said that he didn't ever see black people drink coffee when he was growing up. That was his reason for it. He said none of us, we drank tea or iced tea or whatever, and it ended up Magic Johnson ended up buying into that. And he said, I can't imagine how much money I lost there. And he goes, but I just made the decision based on my personal thing. People are not going to drink coffee at Starbucks in the South, right? He's not infallible, right?
He was going to be the owner face of Starbucks in LA. Okay. Mm-hmm. In LA. They drink a little bit of cups of coffee there. Shaq drives by Starbucks. He wants to vomit every single time, guaranteed.